to be. And by golly, no one's going to stand in my way. But then sometimes we find out that's not right. And that's what happened to Saul. Saul was doing something he thought was correct. He thought he was doing good. And Saul was a really radical guy. So on his way to Damascus, Jesus said, if I'm going to get a hold of this guy, if I'm going to get through to him, if I'm really going to speak to him so he can hear me, I got to do it in a radical way. So what does Jesus do? Flash of blinding light, knocks Saul to the ground, calls him out by name. Saul, what are you doing? Saul says, who are you, Lord? Now, pay close attention to what Saul said. Who are you, Lord? Saul recognized this is God. This is my Lord that has done this. But he's looking at somebody that he doesn't recognize. He doesn't know who it is. So he's asking, God, who are you? Now imagine his surprise when the answer comes back. It's me, Jesus. It's me, the one that you've been persecuting. It's me. You're God. Now for Saul, that was a pretty radical realization. That I thought Jesus was the bad guy. I thought I was supposed to be stopping Jesus, and I just found out Jesus is God. Can you imagine what's going through Saul's head? And Saul understands. He says, okay, Lord, I'm going to listen to you. And I'm not going to continue to persecute you, Lord. Tell me. I understand that you're God. I understand who you are. Now tell me, Lord, what do you want me to do? Now for a man, that's a pretty bold statement. Tell me what to do. How many of you guys enjoy being told what to do? Let me ask the question a different way. When's the last time you asked someone for advice? Or when is the last time, guys, you asked somebody for directions? I actually heard about a guy that asked for directions. He and his wife went to this company picnic, or they were living in Baltimore somewhere, and when they left, they were trying to get home, and they got lost, and they ended up in like this really bad neighborhood that was known for drugs and all this stuff. So he's driving through this really awful neighborhood, and can't find the highway. He doesn't know how to get home. So he sees a cop, and he pulls over. He flags the cop down, and the cop comes over, and he's trying to ask the cop for directions, and the cop's just like, "What do you do in this neighborhood? You know, you got a nice car, a well-to-do white couple in this neighborhood that's predominantly African American, and all these drugs and everything else. Just, what do you do here?" And so his wife chimes in. She's trying to help. No. And they end up getting this argument. The police officer ends up arresting him and throwing him in jail.
No.
See what happens when you ask for directions? You get thrown in jail. So no, I'm not going to ask for directions. Guys don't like to be told what to do. We like to figure things out.
Amen.
We think we know. We got an idea how to do it, and if we don't, we'll work our way through. We'll figure it out eventually. What happens when we don't seek advice and guidance? Where do we end up? Unfortunately, many times, we'll end up like Saul, zealously fighting for the wrong thing. We need that advice. We need to seek the Lord. Because, believe me, if God's wanting to get a hold of you, He will. It's just a matter of how you want it to happen. Because you can be like Saul and have to get knocked down and blinded and screamed at. by God before you get it. But my prayer would be that we would seek Him out. Say, Lord, I need your guidance. I need you to advise me. I need you to tell me, Lord. I can't do this on my own. I need to rely, Lord, on you. Now, this message from God, make no mistake, this is a message for you. If you look at the 7th verse of Acts chapter 9, I find it interesting that there's a couple of guys with Saul on his way to Damascus. And these guys, they're kind of, companions of Paul, they're buddy-buddy, they're hanging out. Saul gets knocked down, bright light, they hear this voice. But verse 7 says, the men that were with Saul didn't see anything. See, Jesus came with a message specifically for Paul. This is something I want to tell you. And there were other people there, and they heard stuff, but they didn't see anything. They didn't know what was going on. God got a hold of Saul in that moment. And He said, I have a specific job for you. Now, why did Jesus pick Saul specifically for this job? Why him? What's wrong with the other guys?
Because he's determined.
Remember how zealous Saul is? How determined Saul is? Jesus looked at Saul and said, you are willing to go to great lengths for what you believe in. You're willing to travel all over the world and throw people in jail in the name of what you thought was right. That's the kind of zealous, dedicated, radical person that I need to go spread my gospel. That's why He picked Saul. He said, Saul's the guy. He's got this great attribute of being a zealous individual. He's just on the wrong road. And Jesus, I just need to get him on the right road. And He can use that same zeal, that same dedication for the right thing. If we can just get him on that right road. I was here in the chapel last week when we had the lunch, and everybody was down there. I was up here getting some things finished up before I went down. And Elijah, you know Elijah, Kim and Alanis' youngest, their little boy. Have you ever seen Elijah? Elijah was running, making laps around the platform. And it's great. It was like a NASCAR driver. Just keep turning left, Elijah. Just keep turning left. I said, he's got a lot of energy, Elijah, why don't you come help me straighten these chairs, buddy? Why don't you come over here and help me straighten the chairs up? So he comes down and he starts to help me a little bit, and then all of a sudden he's running up and down the aisle. He looks like Michael Phelps swimming for the gold. He's just running back and forth. And I was like, Elijah, why don't you go through the seats and pick up all the bulletins and everything? We can throw those away. So he starts down one of the aisles, and I turn around. Next thing I know, he's under one chair and over the next one and under the next one. He's like an army recruit in one of those obstacle courses. He's just running. I'm like, oh, Elijah. So okay, Elijah, there's some trash up there on the platform behind the pulpit. Why don't you go grab that for me, buddy? And so he comes up here and he's just running back and forth. Just running. It's like he was speed preaching. I was just like, oh my goodness. Just watching Elijah makes you tired. And you go, man, if I could bottle some of that energy that Elijah's got running around the chapel and use that, holy cow. That'd be awesome. That's exactly what Jesus wanted to do with Saul. He says, Saul, you've got this great energy. I just want you to focus it, direct it in the right way.